Meanwhile, as the Senate Intelligence Committee moves forward with its investigation, the same cannot be said for the House Intelligence Committee. Right now, that investigation is at a standstill. Let's bring in a member of that committee, Republican Congressman Chris Stewart of Utah. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Wolf.
Let's talk about what's going on. Congressman, the Speaker, Paul Riney, acknowledged this morning that the back and forth over the House Intelligence Committee's investigation has gotten, in his words, a little political, and there needs to be a pause to gather all the evidence to get it right. I assume you agree with him that it's well, I don't know if he said this, but I'll ask you, it's an embarrassment what's going on right now in terms of the House Intelligence Committee's investigation.
Well, I think it's unfortunate. I mean, many of us who work on the committee, one of the things we valued was the ability to work in a bipartisan manner. And one of the reasons for that is we were able to do it without the cameras in our faces, and it wasn't as public. And we took this responsibility, Wolf, very seriously. Look, we're going to follow this investigation wherever it leads, but I think it's better done if we do it not necessarily behind closed doors, but if we do it kind of quietly, if we do it very responsibly. But when we start working and debating in the public realm, I just think it's not helpful, and I think we've seen some of that over the last week. I think the committee wants to come.
Have you seen, Congressman, have you actually seen or been fully briefed on the information that Chairman Nunes collected when he made that visit to the White House the other day?
You bet. We've been fully briefed on it. We understand it pretty well. We haven't actually seen the documents, but I know that they're going to be delivered and made available to us. But again, we spent a lot of time understanding what they contain. And they were meaningful things. They were things that I think that were, troubling for us in some ways. And again, we look forward to sharing that with the American people. But the investigation, I think, is just better done if we do it more discreetly. And let me elaborate on that if I could, Wolf. When we had the FBI director before our committee in our first open hearing last week, almost 100 times we asked him questions. He said, I can't answer that in this forum. We want to bring him back, ask him those same questions, get those answers, and it gives us a much better foundation for moving forward than having these open hearings where we can't get the information that we need.
When will you hold your next hearing?
Next week, and we're rescheduling those people who are scheduled to come this week, and we want to bring the director back. We want to bring Mr. Rogers back as well. I think we'll see good activity again early next week.
So early next week, General Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, John Brennan, the former CIA director, are they going to be among those testifying, as well as the former acting attorney general of the United States, Sally Yates?
Yeah, that's certainly our hope and expectation. Now, I don't know that they'll be here next week, but we've invited invitations for them to come. They know that. They've recognized and said that they would come to before our committee. They're scheduling that now, but once again, I don't know if it'll be next week, but hopefully it's very quickly.
Because they were supposed to testify on Tuesday, and all of a sudden the chairman canceled that. Do you have a good understanding why? We were all anticipating an important hearing and get some additional information for the American public.
And once again, we want to be as open as we can, but referring to the committee hearing we had the week before, it wasn't very helpful in the sense that again and again and again the questions were asked and said, can't talk about it here. And I think those open hearings are better done at the end of this process. Let's bring in these individuals in a private setting where we can ask highly classified, very sensitive questions, get the answers to those, kind of lay that into a foundation where we know this is what's happened. And I think that opens the door for us later on when we do have more public hearings to know what we can ask and what we can get answers to that haven't been designated as being very sensitive or classified. I think it's better for the committee. I think it's better to find the truth. And I think it's really better for the American people. They don't get frustrated then when they hear these hearings and go, well, I didn't learn much because they couldn't answer the questions.
Congressman Chris Stewart, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you all. Thank you.
Coming